Friends and viewer, good day. Oscar Wilde is a well-known writer. He's a well-known writer and poet and short story writer. So today I am going to discuss with you with one of his short story, the name of which is The Nightingale and the Rose. So Nightingale and the Rose, it is a very famous short story written by Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde, as all of you know. So let us start what is there in this short story, Nightingale and the Rose, written by Oscar Wilde. So this is a children's story by Irish writer Oscar Wilde, included in his 1888 fairy tale collection, The Happy Prince and Other Tales. Like many other of his stories in this collection, Nightingale and the Rose is a fable examining the nature of love and sacrifice. The Nightingale and the Rose conform to the simplest story structure of traditional fairy tales, and while subverting many of the genre norms. The story opens with like this. There is a student lamenting he was crying. His unnamed love interest will only dance with him. The girl who his lover had demanded that she will dance with him if he can give her a red rose, which he cannot find. Despite his great learning, his life is wretched due to this lake. The nightingale overhears the lamenting and the cry of the student. She reflects that she has sung about the student night after night, though she knows him not and that he is a true lover. The student continues his lament, exclaiming that the prince is hosting a ball next night and fantasizing about dancing with his love interest. He refers that if he does not give her, the girl, his lover, a red rose, she will reject him and break his heart. When the student begins to weep, the lizard, butterfly, and daisy call him and the sources of his distress ridiculous. So the nightingale, however, ponders the mystery of love and then approaches a rose tree to request a rose. The tree refuses, replying that it only has a white roses, not red roses. The nightingale requests roses from another tree, but is again denied, and this tree has only yellow rose. Finally, the nightingale asks for roses from the red rose tree, but the tree explained that winter has killed all its buds. Seeing the nightingale's desperation, the tree says that there is a terrible way that the nightingale could secure a rose. The nightingale insists, and the red rose replies that the nightingale must sing all night and then pierce her heart with a thorn, as a tree needs. Hearts bleed and the music to create a rose. The nightingale thinks of the many joys of life she would lose, but is willing to die to help the student. She flies back to the student and tells him that she will bring him his red rose if he vows that he will always be a true lover. The student does not understand what the nightingale is saying, as he only understood book knowledge. The oak tree, who recognized that the nightingale is about to sacrifice herself, asks her for one last song before she dies. As the nightingale flies away, The student write down in his notebook that the nightingale has lovely style and art, but no feeling or deeper meaning. The nightingale returns to the red rose tree and sings of childhood love while pushing her breast against a thorn. A rose begins forming, but it is pale. She then begins to sing of love between a man and a maid as the thorn pierces her heart. She sings of undying love. The rose then becomes crimson. Before dying, the nightingale lets out a few final notes that cause the rose to open its petal. The student opens his windows and celebrates his wonderful luck at finding a red rose. He plucks the rose and brings it to his love interest, revealed to be professor's daughter. The student shows her rose and reminds her of her promise to dance with him. The professor's daughter tells him that the rose will not match her dress. And that she received valuable jewels from the chamberlain's nephew. The student accuses the professor's daughter of being ungrateful and throws the rose in the gutter, where a cart rolls over over it. After the professor's daughter dismisses him, the student remarks that love is a silly thing and not half as useful as logic, for it does not prove anything. In fact, it is quite unpractical, and in this age to be practical is everything. He then returns to reading about his book. So this is the story of the nightingale and the rose, how the nightingale had sacrificed her love for the student in order that he can get a red rose out of the season. So the nightingale, the theme of this nightingale and rose is, it is the nature of love and sacrificing oneself for love. Above all, the nightingale and the rose is about the nature of love and sacrifice. The story explores different meaning of the word love, particularly to different lures of the student and the nightingale. Initially, the student appears to be true lover, but when reading the story with knowledge of its ending, the student declaration of love and fantasies of the ball come across as showy, melodramatic and stylized. The student thinks that he is in love, but may be more taken the idea of love than the professor's daughter herself. His quick denunciation of love lends credence to this reading, especially as it seems motivated not by the bitterness of rejection, but rather of total misappreciation of love itself. The student action stands in direct contrast to the nightingale's determined search for red rose and the sacrifice of her life for the student's love. Unlike the student and the professor's daughter, she realized that love is not quantifiable or commodifiable. It cannot be set forth in the marketplace, but it is nonetheless exceptionally valuable. Why is it? Why she is willing to give her own heart, blood, and music to create? So this is the theme of this short story, The Nightingale and the Rose. Now let us see the character, the biggest character of this, the hero of this short story is the nightingale herself, is this protagonist and hero. She loves to sing and please the world around her with her music, and her interest in the desire of other makers her remarkably unlike the self-absorbed student and professor's daughter. She is non-materialistic, holding a love above all else, from emerald and opals to the joys of life itself. She emerges the true lover of the story, both understanding and embodying the nature of love and sacrificing oneself for love. In same way, the nightingale sacrifices even Christ-like, especially when she sings of love that dies not in the tomb. In addition to being a true lover, the nightingale is also a true artist. She's underappreciated by the student in this capacity as well. He dismissed the art as selfish and claims that her notes do not mean anything, do any practical good, an observation that proves to be wrong. So the Nightingale's song is so powerful that she attracts the attention of the moon, faraway shepherds, and the sea, proving herself much more powerful than the philosophy and metaphysics of the student prize above all. So this is the story written by great Oscar Wilde, The Nightingale and the Rose. Very interesting story. I hope you will enjoy it. Thank you for patient listening.